Who's your first hire?
Who's my first
Hire.
hire? I think my first hire would be my deputy mayor.
Any people in mind already? Have you had discussions?
You know, actually, I've been thinking about one of the candidates that's running for mayor.
Will you name names?
Well, of course not. It's a secret.
What does that person have to bring to the table, though?
I think that person brings to the table some experience and in terms of dealing with people, making sure that they will put people before politics. Someone who has a good knowledge about business, because we are headed for great things to happen in Nashville. I think someone who is well versed in policy and legislation to ensure. I think we have good policy, but we've got to make sure that it is enforced, make sure that the policy is really about the people. So someone that could help bring the balance that we need in terms of having those good policies, but making sure that it reaches all Nashvillians.
General Hospital is our safety net hospital, and our lease runs out with Mayoral in 2027. What happens next? Do we build a new hospital? And if so, where?
I do absolutely think we should build a new hospital, and I would like to refer to General Hospital as an essential hospital and not necessarily safety net, because it is essential for so many people who do not have health care, and I believe it's essential for those students at Mayoral Medical College who uses it as a teaching hospital. In fact, I had all three of my children there, and they were wonderful to me. And since I'm talking about my children, I guess I should talk about their father, considering that we celebrated 41 years of marriage on yesterday.
Applause worthy.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
so
so
much.
if we do build a new,
We do build
Where?
a new one. Well, I know that they have been looking at Metro Center, but I've been considering, well, I've actually talked to Dr. Webb and his team to consider Bordeaux, because there are 400 acres of land that has been underutilized, and I think that we could really make that a healthcare center, perhaps a research triangle, and just do some wonderful things, considering that the Bordeaux community is high in terms of its diabetes, hypertension, people not having access to the things that they need. And I think having something closely to those that need it the most would be a perfect marriage.
in Kansas City, the buses are free. Do you think more people would embrace transit if it were free, and could that solve any of the high volume traffic problems like the one I had getting here tonight?
Well, I think that there are some other things that would have to take place. I think free buses is an incentive, and it could be helpful, but I think we've also got to make sure. I have always wondered why all of our bus shelters didn't have shelters. Why is it that we had so many people who were standing, and elderly people, for quite some time? You know, I've worked in the community for some 25 years, and I have seen elderly people, in fact, and picked them up myself and taken them to the grocery stores or taking them home from being at the grocery stores. So I think free is good, but it's not necessarily the thing that they want and need the most. I also created a shuttle service with door-to-door and door-through-door services for our senior community, and they were not happy when I told them it was free. They wanted to have their own independence, so I said, okay, you pay $1 going and $1 coming back. And they felt really proud that they were able to contribute and kept their own independence in doing so.
Was that during COVID?
No, we did not do it in COVID. We actually stopped the shuttle service during COVID, but it started, I think, in like 2012, 2011, and went to about 2017 or 18.
Do you think that need is still there for
Oh,
something?
it absolutely is because they don't have access. You know, I served on a board at Matthew Walker and saw the disparities in the diabetes and hypertension and knew that there was a food desert. Based on the population in that community, there should have been 6 grocery stores, and it was actually only 1. Since that time, we've had an Aldi's to come over on Clarksville Highway. There are like 13 senior facilities in that community. Many of them do not have, need wheelchair access. And by the way, let me just tell you, I went to Memphis and got the bus from Graceland.
Really?
And what's so interesting about that is I used to work at this hospital during the summer, and on August 16th, 1977, you know, I typed really fast. I typed over 100 words a minute. So they called me into the admissions office to help type up the admissions, and I typed 1 on August 16th, 1977 for Elvis Aaron Presley. How about that? That deserves a clap right there, y'all. I'm originally from Memphis, and then so I went back and bought, that was the day he passed away. I didn't see him, of course, but I did put in his paperwork. And I went back and I bought a bus from Graceland. It was a great deal because it didn't have but 20,000 miles on it, and I only paid $35,000 for it.
Very good. A new East Bank neighborhood. Where do you stand on that? Is that a priority for you, and do you support using TIF financing?
Absolutely. I think that is one of the greatest deals and opportunities that this city will have. I believe that the East Bank redevelopment project could be an economic tsunami. And I want to make sure that my grandchildren are able to live well in this city and to have that type of rainfall of funding come in for the development that is going to take place. I am just super excited about it. I saw a couple here that was married for a year, and I want them to be able to raise their family and do the things that they want and have. We talk about affordability. I want anything and everything in Nashville to be affordable to everybody. And we do that by making sure we get those contracts, especially for small minority and women-owned businesses, because I got 25% deal into that project of the stadium. So once it moves, that means that is going to be almost $600,000 a day for 3 years coming back to the community. So if we do that with the stadium, just imagine what we'll be able to do for the East Bank development. I'm excited about it, and I think Nashville should be excited. That's why people are coming here every day, because they say great things. I held a conference here of the National Black Caucus of locally elected officials, where I served as the national president for over a year. 500 black elected officials. Last week, the mayor came to me and told me that he heard from so many people how much they loved and enjoyed being here. They're coming back in 2026 with their major summit. That's because of all the great things that are happening here.
I want to leave you some time to sum up in 30 seconds, but let me throw this question at you.
Okay.
Housing vouchers often go unused in a city like Nashville. Plenty of demand for housing, and the renters are willing to pay the market rate. How will you engage with landlords to address housing insecurity?
You know, I think what we have to do is make it a priority. Give them some of the incentives that they need. Make sure we meet the people where they are. Not only do we give them market rate, but we give some affordable and attainable housing, because people are voting with their feet every day, and we want that to change. I think we should also preserve housing for our senior and legacy residents that have been here. We've got to build perhaps generational housing. When I was growing up, you had generations of families living in houses together. I think we got to have some co-housing, all of those things, because I think social isolation is very, very important. This guy told me that he talked to Mother Teresa once, and he was asking her, said, you've seen all the epidemics that are happening, polio and tuberculosis, and now you've seen HIV. What is the worst epidemic you've seen? And she said, loneliness. So I think when we bring people together and put them together and they show love, that we're going to have a better community, and we want to restore hope and prosperity on every community and every block and not leave one person behind. I am Sharon Hurt. I am running for mayor. I would ask for your vote and for your support. You can go to my website at sharonfornashville.com. I love Nashville. I have worked in the trenches. Our culture has changed, but the politics have not. And change is what we need, and I am the change that this city needs. Thank you all very much for having me here. I got to run off to a council meeting, and I am... and I have been on the phone trying to figure out what we're going to do with NASCAR. Is my time up?
I think so.
Okay.
You going to